Good morning. It is 11 o'clock my time on Monday, and that's caffeine corner time. And we've got caffeine. This is like my third cup today, so I'm awake.
Already?
Oh yeah. I got up this morning. I really hadn't slept that much, but I got up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna like perk myself up, get freshened up, beautify myself. But didn't want to look like I was half dead like I normally do on Monday morning. So yeah, I've been imbibing caffeine. How about yourself, Josh?
I got some tea, though I have been cutting back because I was informed that I was supposed to. So
What, green tea?
I've been drinking a little bit less tea, a little bit more water.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get it. We'll get it. It's funny we're gonna be talking about that because I happen to like tea, but too much tea can be bad for you. Your liver has a problem with too much tea to your kidneys. And there was a guy that actually drank too much green tea, and he actually got sick off of it. But everything in moderation, right? But speaking of nutrition, hey, Jules is back with us. She was with Rum and Coke night the other night, and she's a weight loss transformation guru / I don't know, come on, lay nutritionist, fitness.
And she's
You promote yourself. What the hell are you again? A little bit of everything. You're like potpourri of stuff.
Yeah, I am a potpourri of stuff. I like that. Yes, I'm a 100-pound weight loss transformation. I'm a certified life coach, certified fitness coach. I have dealt with many of weight loss clients, help them reach their goals, help them find motivation, keep people motivated. So yeah, I'm a lot of things.
All right.
Former NPC bikini competitor. So
I would figure that's
saved that for last, by the way. Notice that.
What's that? During the with the lockdown and everything that's gone on, I imagine people are having a little bit of a hard time with weight or nutrition or motivation in particular.
Yeah, I think it all starts with motivation. It starts with mindset. You have to be in the right mindset to accomplish something, and just wanting something isn't always the solution. So I think people really do need that extra push. People do really need an accountability source, buddy, partner, whatever it may be, in order to, really achieve their goals. And I think a lot of us have, not purposefully, but I think we've all kind of let our mindset and our motivation slip. I mean, it's kind of out of our hands at this point. When we did go into lockdown, we isolated ourselves. So if you didn't have an accountability person or somebody you were going to the gym with, there's no accountability on yourself to even make yourself presentable to go out into the world. So yeah,
you're saying that
there's a lot of repairing that needs to be done.
In 2020,
no,
the rule of thumb was, you know what? No, I don't actually. I put it over here, but I actually have a black robe that I'll sit in, some of the days and just sit in a black robe and play a game.
A robe.
Don't bother to even shave and. But you're right, because who you got to impress, right? I don't care. I'm not going to impress my landlord or my roommates because I don't give a shit.
Seen my hairy legs?
I've seen. Yeah, we've seen your hairy legs. It's a forest. It's a jungle. It's you need to break out one of the weed whackers.
Yeah, I'm proud.
Yeah,
see, it's an accomplishment.
But you know what? When I shave, I feel better. I'm sure it's probably similar for women when they shave their legs. I feel less. I don't know what the word is. You wake up and you're groggy. Yeah, I mean, you're just like, yeah, you feel rejuvenated, right? You shit, shower, shave. They call it. I call it the 3 S's, right? In the Navy, shit, shower, shave, and you feel better. You do feel better about yourself. But before we get started, a couple things. We got to get some preliminary stuff done. One,
that's where all of my self-hate comes from. That's why I don't have any self-esteem. It's because I'm not shaving my legs, you misogynist.
Or you're not shitting in the morning. Make sure you have gotta have that. In mind.
Yeah, it could be that. Maybe I'm just backed
up. It's a very important thing. All right, so a couple preliminary things. One, if you haven't checked out Jules' channel, the link is in the video description. She's only got I don't know, like a couple hundred subs. Your video on weight loss transformation is only 3.5 minutes long, and it has like 275 watches. So let's get that to like, it should be like 1,000 minimum. So I don't know how we're going to do that because we have a low audience this morning. But maybe if you guys could take that video in the link, pin it on your tab so you can watch it afterwards. And then, let us know what you think of it and stuff like that, because, I wish they would have watched it first. It's only 3 and 4. You know what? Hey, Dave, should we watch that video before people can like know
Oh my
your
gosh,
weight loss
it's
story?
so old.
Do you guys want to do that first? Because people don't know who the hell you are. They know you from
Yeah.
on a Coke night, but they don't know you from Twitter. Jess, what do you think?
And
But if you see a replay, they're not going to go watch it. They should go watch it themselves.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. They'll go watch it.
They don't listen to us.
I trust that our community likes to help people, whether it be with views, but I think it will make them a lot more likely to go and subscribe when they know where they're going and what they're getting into.
I agree.
Very true.
We got good people here that are going to care.
And FYI, that video is dated 2017. Yes, it is the same person that is speaking to you now that is speaking to you in that video. Obviously, I completely adopted a lifestyle change. And at that point, when I made that video, I was very proud of myself and where I was at. I mean, but little did I know like that I was going to keep going farther in my journey and, just refine my craft.
It really was like Pokemon evolution. You have a picture of you when you're 100 pounds overweight or 100 pounds heavier than you are now. And then you have your video they made in 2007, which, you look like a very normal, outgoing, fit girl. And you had done bikini modeling at that point.
Yes, I had competed.
Yeah, competed.
I think I had competed. Yes, I did.
Okay,
because I went dark.
This is her final form. So this is her final form. The transformation has been completed.
Are you sure?
But I don't know. Maybe, hey,
I'm sorry.
If she can improve upon this, that's great for her. I don't know where you're going to go, but knock yourself out.
No more weight loss.
Yeah, I was going to say any more weight loss and you disappear. Yeah, exactly. So you want to do that, Bull? If I gift you the video, or can you just find it, or do you want me to send it to you, or is that too much of an effort to do right now? Awesome. I'm doing it right now. All right, there's a link, Dave, and he'll get that set up. But in the interim,
there's a couple of questions. One of them is Entreated Feline is asking, "Do you wish you'd have done it sooner?" So starting your
yes and no. I, of course, as a human being, as a woman, like you want everything right now. You want instant change. You want instant gratification. But I think everything happened for a reason, and it happened within its own time frame. I think that if I would have gone through a transformation during a time in my life when I wasn't so, I guess I wasn't at my happiest point, maybe I would have, misused my transformation. Maybe I would have gone into a field that, isn't the most respectful, or maybe the people that I was hanging out with, wouldn't have respected me. And then in turn, I wouldn't have respected my results. So I think there's transitions, there's phases in every part of your life. And as long as you stay focused and stay consistent, it will come within its own time, in its right time. So no, yeah, I'm glad that it happened the way it did.
I believe that. I've been on weight loss before. When I'm motivated, it certainly worked. I was very fastidious about it. I was very analytical about it. You guys had seen I have a spreadsheet for each day, week, month. Yeah, I mean, I broke it down very analytically. But I think that certain people need to be. Now I can do it in my kind of head now because I count calories in my head. I know by now if I eat a large egg, it's around 80 calories. If I eat a piece of bread, it's 100 calories. I mean, I can guesstimate pretty well at least, right? So if I have a 300 calorie sandwich, I know I can have what I can have with it to boost up maybe to 400 or 500 calories for like a nice lunch, rather than the 800, 900, 1,000 calorie meals that I was eating prior. Because I mean, people, we'll get into the whole counting calories and nutrition aspect in a few here, but people don't realize how much caloric intake they actually have until they actually do the math and go, holy crap, I'm eating, 2,600 calories a day when I'm only supposed to be eating 2,200 calories, 100 calories a day. Or, for a larger person, some of them maybe need 3,000 calories if you're really active, and they might be eating 4,000.
I think that some people are a little bit more analytically minded, and the math is enough. The math of like, here's what you need, here's what you're doing, so here's the excess that you have. So if you just cut out the excess and you time it and you manage your resources, some people are very more analytical that way. And then you've got other people who are just like, I just need a buddy. I just want a friend to do this with. So we're gonna see if we can help you guys out with that. I think a little bit. Do we want to talk about our
we're gonna do that after the video. Let's get after the video. Let's explain that
after the video. Oh, that video.
Yeah,
I thought you meant the video we're currently doing and got really
no. God, no, her video. God has it ready. So
it's okay. I figured it out. I got there.
God has spoken to me that he has the video ready.
All right. You heard a prophecy?
Say, girl. So you want to be a weight loss transformation. What better person to give you a how-to guide than somebody who is one? That's me. Let me start by giving y'all a really big disclaimer. This will not happen overnight. It has taken me 6+ years to get to where I'm at today.
The sound effects.
That was me. About 220 pounds. Right now, I'm about 130. I've almost lost 100 pounds in my entire weight loss journey. I've competed in NPC bikini competitions for the first time this past year. So let me tell you, fad diets will not work. Fad diets will not work. Waist trainers, apple cider vinegar, laxatives, they won't work. Yeah, you'll lose weight. You might even drop 20 to 30 pounds. But what's gonna happen when you start eating normal food again? Proper diet and exercise is what works. So I want to share with you guys today 5 steps to getting started on your own transformation. Number 1, who are you doing this for? Answer better be you, and you only. Sit down and plan everything out. Everything's better from Target. Or I am currently, for 2017, using a Panda planner. You can get in the habit of getting in the habit. Which brings me to step number 3, habits. You have to break out of your bad habits and create new habits. Is don't think, just do. Think speed of implementation. Implementation. Don't just say you're going to do something. Do it. If you need accountability, if you need to put it on social media, if you need to post it on Facebook, if you need to post your before picture on Instagram, do it.
Oh, yes, honey.
And last but not least, trust. You have to trust the process. Slow changes are the most permanent changes. My journey has come very, very far. I've been through a lot in the past 10 years of my life. Those are all for another stories, another days, my dears. Don't know if I want to put them on the internet yet. So, I'm giving you guys 3 free tools for watching this video. I'm giving you the 5 steps that I just gave you on paper, you know us in the internets these days. A meal guidance list, which includes proteins, carbs, fruits, veggies, and all of the good stuff that you should be eating to start your weight loss transformation. I'm also giving you guys a really great weight loss stack recommendation by Motivate. If you use my code JulesV30, you get 30% off. So links all below. So like, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bueno, bye.
I like that video.
My
I gotta
God.
tell you. Yeah, she's perky. I like perky people. She's very outgoing.
It's a good video.
It's a very short video, right?
Yeah. When I heard the Selena, I was like, oh my God.
Selena.
She's from Texas, yes.
I was more of a Shakira, but yeah. But yeah, so we like that video. So people out there, share that video, get it out there, because it only has like 200 something, like 275 views, and I think that's really low because you put a lot of effort in that, and it kind of, you're very outgoing, and it again, you didn't pack a lot of information per se, because you were supposed to make additional videos. Apparently, that never happened, which we're going to motivate you to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's a symbiotic relationship going on
my planning board.
Cheshire, can you explain the symbiotic relationship we have amongst us, and who else is anybody else join? Yeah, a couple other people join us, about how we're helping her motivate her to make more videos, while she's helping us motivate to eat better and get in better shape.
Okay, so essentially we've got like a handful of people who are creating that are essentially bringing to the table what they bring to the table as content, but a little bit more directly. So I'm helping how I can with management and resources and general advice when it comes to dealing, like navigating things like that. Our Jules, our guest here, is bringing the motivation and the accountability. And then we've got one or two other people that are bringing their own resources, be that either their own channel or whatever. So essentially everybody's bringing something to the table to help improve everybody's channels, but also improve everybody's lives and how they feel and how they're doing, especially in these times that are ridiculous. It's really important to have a support group. And that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, because I
agree
mean,
100%.
Was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. I had weighed myself when I went to the restroom, and I told you guys I was like, "This is the heaviest I've been."
And got really sad.
I just like, holy shit! I was like, I mean, I knew I'd been. Look, I mean, I could eat a whole pepperoni pizza myself, and that's 1,600 calories right there. You know, and I knew I was eating ice cream, and I was eating a lot of candies, and cheesecake, and things that just very high in calories. So I knew I had been putting on weight. I didn't realize how much. And I was telling these guys earlier. I don't know if I told Jules, but I told Chess. I actually sat down and broke my belt. That's how
you told us.
Yeah, true story. And so I was like, oh my God, this is like a godsend to have a fitness guru to kind of help get motivated. And you know, I like the end of your video said, you know, just kind of do it. So I had actually got on Amazon. I got some resistance bands. They're going to be here on the 9th. So it was at Wednesday, I think. And I'm going to start doing, you know, some the exercises I used to do, because I used to be in much better shape. And I'm going to get back down to at least where I was, and hopefully about 5 pounds more as I kind of have you guys track it. And so you're motivating to us, and we're hopefully motivating to you to make more videos, because if you make more videos and you get to be 1 million subs, maybe we'll get like 3 people to subscribe to this channel.
Yes. And there is, well, like I said, you know, being so detached and isolated from the world, I think the reason why I kind of stopped making videos back in 2017 is because I kind of found my outlet. I, you know, was amongst a group of women who that was their purpose. They wanted to lose weight. So that was kind of like my little soapbox, that I could interact with them every day, and I just could absorb their desire for wanting to change for the better, and in turn I could, you know, motivate them. And being isolated and kind of being cut off from that source, it really impacted me, because you feel like you're following your purpose, and I was following my purpose, and then to just be cut off from that, I can only imagine how some people who are dealing with, you know, the effects of the virus feel. It is a huge mindset shift that it is not welcome by any of us by any means, but to have come across you guys and for y'all to see what I'm capable of, it's very motivating, very inspiring. And yeah, I sat down and I just started writing out pretty much everything I already had in mind for making content. And I started an LLC, and all of that is in the works. So I will be delivering actual, you know, workout and weight loss programs that start in your home. So like Steve said, how he ordered bands, you can use the bands without having to go to the gym, so that you build your confidence up while you're in your own little haven. And then when the world opens up, or when you feel more confident and comfortable, you can go get a membership at a gym and know what you're doing, because practice makes perfect, and consistencies, you know, you'll see results with consistency. So I think it's all a process. It's definitely a process. Being so big and insecure when I was younger and into my college years, I was deathly afraid of public gyms. And I was even approached by people, you know, when I did get the guts to, you know, get a Planet Membership Fitness, I did get the guts to pick up weights a couple of times. And then I would get people telling me, oh, you're doing this wrong. So of course I go back into my little shell and I'm just on the bike or elliptical for, you know, 20, 30 minutes.
But they're really only trying to help you so you maximize results from your workout, right?
Yeah, but I think it's just the fear of somebody coming up to you and telling you you're doing something wrong, and the fear actually coming true. And you're not in a welcome mindset for that type of feedback. So I think it is going to affect you negatively, especially if the person's approach is very intimidating or, you know, very
it's not like you have a
off-putting.
personal instructor that you're paying to give you those tips and help you out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
now, okay, so my personal thing is, like I said, weight loss. Chesh is what were you gonna do, Chesh? Because you don't want to lose any weight, because you just vanish if you did that.
I know Chesh is so small.
Is Chesh frozen?
No.
Did we lose Chesh?
We lost her.
Canadian connections, I'm telling you. Okay, well, anyways, for my weight loss, do you want to tell people what weight I was at, so we have a starting point, even though this was like last Wednesday and not a big deal.
No.
But every week I kind of will like pace myself. You don't notice anything for like a month. I mean, because as you well know, you can go up and down a pound or two every other day, or every day. I mean,
like crazy. Yeah.
So I mean, that really doesn't, weighing yourself every day makes no sense. I once a week, I probably will be on Saturdays, and then like a month, see if I've dropped a pound or two. Because if I could go for like 2 to 4 pounds a month, that'd be amazing. But usually weight loss is generally about 1 a week.
That's average.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into that real quick. But do you remember the number that I started with? Because I don't
want to tell them.
You can tell them. It's okay. No, accountability. Accountability. I'm giving you permission.
No, weight is just a number. It's just like our social security number. Go for it. I want them to hear.
I myself at 219.4. And that's a lot, because usually I was fluctuating.
And how tall are you?
I got to 5'11". I got down to 197 at the minimum. I was at 210 about 2 years ago, and I dropped down from 210 to 197 when I my first diet. That worked. That was about 13 pounds, and that was consisting of a lot of rice and fish, chicken, and things of that nature. So I do know how to do it, and it did work. My diet did work. So that's kind of what I'm doing again. When I'm adding a lot more exercising as soon as I get my resistance bands. But normally I do weight loss for like my metabolic rate. It's 1 to 2 pounds a week. 1 is average, 2 would be a lot more, but 2, so you figured 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So 8 pounds in a month would be a kind of a high thing for me. Low would be 4. So between 4 and 8 pounds would be my goal for about a month, I think. Does that sound about reasonable? Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Jeff.
And you have, you have to remember that when you first start a weight loss journey, you're going to see results. And you could lose up to 8 pounds in a week. One, be proud of that if you did it the right way. But two, know that it's not always going to come that easy and that fast, because you hold a lot of water weight. People retain water, whether it be from sodium, carbs, sugars. So just flushing all of that out, you're naturally going to see the number on the scale drop. But don't get discouraged. I've hit plateaus many a times. What matters is, my number one suggestion for tracking your progress and not focusing on a number is pictures and wearing the same thing every time you take a progress picture. So what I did when I first started losing weight is, by my mirror, I put a piece of tape on the floor, always put my feet in the same position, camera in the same position, wearing the same thing. And even though I didn't lose, maybe the scale said I lost like 0.5 pounds, you really don't see that number go down, but you feel a difference in your pants. Like, you see a difference in your shirt, the way it fits your back, or you see a difference in your face.
Yeah, my shirts are not fitting like they used to. I mean, like this shirt here used to be.
You're just busting out of them.
Yeah, it doesn't fit me as well as it used to, by any stretch of imagination. I used to, my pants were all size 36, and I went to 38. I'm sure I'm pushing 42 now. I think you're exactly right. Is that you can measure your waistline or something like that. You can see those actual dramatic changes, because yes, you can lose a lot of weight rapidly, but you're losing fat, and that's what a lot of people want to actually lose. Right? Water retention, you lose pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, but that's not weight loss, because your body can start regaining water again. What you want to do is, for every the rule of thumb is 3,500 calories is about a pound of fat. Okay. Now, yes, muscle weighs more than fat, but you want to burn your fat and not your muscle, because if you don't do it right, you start burning muscle, and that's not what you want. You want to burn fat. So you've got to have what's called a caloric deficit. Now, for myself, if you go to a calorie counter, right now at about, I put about 220, 219.4, 220. My sedentary rate is about 2,200, give or take. It's 2,140 something, or 2,200, maybe as high as 2,300. It depends on what calculator you use. But let's say 2,200 pounds, or 2,200 calories a day. That is to maintain the weight you're at. Now, you have a metabolic base rate, which is mine, about 1,800, 1,900 metabolic rate. That means the minimum you need to survive, kind of thing. So you have to have a deficit by eating less calories than what your body's requiring for the exercise that you're at. Obviously, you do a lot more exercises. You can be needing maybe 2,800 calories. But let's say that I require, let's say 2,400 calories a day to maintain where I'm at. If I only eat 1,500 calories, right, that's a 900 calorie deficit. And that 900 calorie deficit, plus with weightlifting and resistance band, that adds up, right? I mean, we'll put it. That's exceptionally high. Let's put it at 500 calories a day, right? And 500 calories a day in about a week, you'll lose a pound, give or take, right? So if you want to be able to have the two best ways to create a deficit, obviously, is eat less calories, and 2, exercise. So you're burning it off, right? So you're burning it and you're eating less, so you have a deficit of 500 to 1,000 calories a day. Again, there's no one size fits all. A lot of people do extreme weight loss.
That feeling you realize weight loss is such a it's so much just mathematics that you could essentially build it into an XP gain system. So if you're somebody who plays video games, the way you'd be able to do it is your XP goes up for equal to the deficit that you've created.
I love that you're catering to all audiences right now.
That's the goal. We gotta make it for everybody.
Yeah. So for people who don't like math like me, I don't math.
We make that a shirt. I don't math. That's a great shirt.
Right. We need that shirt. I don't math. I just.
You know what? You know what? That's great. That's great for your store when you get your channel going. I don't math. I lift. You know.
And there we go. I think the best way I learned it, and again, like y'all said, it's not a one size fits all. So if you come across a personal trainer or an online fitness program that will provide you a meal plan or like a custom meal plan, always look for customization with someone who does math. Because that's when you're going to get more accurate numbers catered to your body.
But you also need the person who does the math. You need the motivation.
Exactly.
You need the numbers to back your shit up.
Exactly. That's why I have a person who's really good at math. Like,
well, there's other factors as well, though. Because even though, let's say you,
Steve brings to the table. By the way, he brings the math.
His spreadsheets are insane.
I broke it down like people don't. I've seen most people have seen my spreadsheets. I broke it down legit.
It went like Zach Galifianakis gift to me.
Well, let's say it's like 2000. Yeah, Jules, you haven't seen my calculus videos. Go watch my.
Oh no. But my brain will go.
Let's say 2000 is an average that people should have for men. Sorry, it just rounds out better for men. It's 2000. So 2,000 calories a day. Out of that 2,000 calories a day, you have to have a certain amount that you make sure you have proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates, right? And everybody processes things a little bit differently. Proteins are generally processed better, but some people need a little bit higher protein. Some people are better with a little higher fat. These are called the paleo diet or the keto diets. All these diets have different ways of adjusting how much you have as proportion to your proteins, carbohydrates,
I knew
and fats, right?
The keto diet, and she loved it. She went from somebody who was like sugar all the time, just survived on all sugar all the time, and then went cold turkey to keto. And she was miserable, but the happiest miserable person I've ever seen for the first little while. And then once she had
keto, when you start keto, you suck. I mean, people have told me, or what I've read for people that start keto, it's horrible.
Simultaneously felt worse and better at the same time. And then once she got it through her system, like a month or two down the line, she was so happy and she felt so much better. And she I don't know how she looks now. I haven't seen her in a long time, but when I was around her so much, she slimmed down, but she didn't lose a ton of weight, but she lost enough to make her feel better, but also she just felt better because what she was consuming wasn't like only sugar.
Yeah.
She's
and a lot of the time,
I would point you all in her direction, but I don't know if she wants that, so I'm not going to.
Well, let me ask Jules, because Jeff makes a good point. Some of these types of diets, you had mentioned the fad diets on your video, which we all agree fad diets are just ridiculous. But there are certain actual types of diets. Well, there's actually, real diets, the Atkins diet, the keto diet, and the paleo diet. Really good friend of ours, Ozzy, loves the paleo diet. He's talked about that before. But the keto diet, correct me if I'm wrong, normally your body, like your liver, breaks down things into through glycolic pathways, right? So you're breaking down the glucose, right? Blood sugars, and your body, your liver, instead of breaking down those types of things, it starts breaking down ketones, right? So you go into ketosis, right? Not ketoacidosis, by the way. I've gotten those confused before. I shouldn't. Ketosis rather than ketoacidosis. Yeah, that's bad. You don't want ketoacidosis. But ketosis it starts breaking down ketones instead, and it uses that as a energy source rather than glycogen. Is that if I remember the ketone diet? Is that in a nutshell kind of thing?
Yes. So with keto, I wouldn't call keto. I think keto is kind of like a staple, one of those staple diets. The concept, like you said, is that someone is going to consume more fats and no carbs.
Much higher fats, right? From from legumes and peanuts and much higher fat content.
If somebody has never tried the keto diet, I would say approach with caution. I found out through my journey through wanting to compete that I had hypothyroidism. I did try at one point this was for like 4 days, to do the keto diet. And my body locked onto all of the fats. I actually gained a little bit more weight because my thyroid couldn't, I kind of like confused my thyroid. So my body needs lesser fats, more carbs. But if I wouldn't have experimented with that style of diet, I wouldn't know these things. So my blood sugar tends to drop randomly, either when I'm too stressed or I'm not eating the right foods, I'm eating too much sugars. My blood sugar will drop and I will pass out. So I've had that happen several times, and it's not
I think
fun.
That it's probably, if people are going to experiment with food, don't make too large of changes all at once.
Yeah.
Eat what you like and educate yourself about the food you're eating, because I think that tends to be what people's issue is. It's not necessarily what they're eating, it's the quantities and the lack of understanding about, oh man, I feel crappy, I feel uncomfortable, I don't like it, I'm gonna and I eat this burger and I just feel I'm hungry, so I grabbed this food and now this food made me feel worse. There are times where I'm like, listen, I want to do nothing but eat a burger, and I refuse to because I know it'll just make me feel worse after I eat it. And it's like, why? Well, this isn't going to help me. So it's just a matter of going and finding the food that is going to do that for you. What can you eat that's actually going to make you feel better because you've eaten, but also not going to make you feel like crap because you ate it? And I find just like, what I find is like, instead of like a meal, it just like a smaller portion usually does it for me, even if it's still a burger. So instead of going to get like, so instead of getting like a double stacked fucking Baconator.
They're so good though.
I can't do the
Baconators are good. Oh my God, they're so good. No,
I can't do the Baconators. Or instead of that, get yourself like off the dollar menu. I'm talking Wendy's in particular. Off the dollar menu, there's like the little tiny junior bacon cheeseburger, and they're like super tiny, and I'm a small person. So it doesn't, it's about finding what works for you. What's really good for me, if I'm feeling peckish and I want to eat something because I'm kind of bored, a tomato, because I don't like fruits very much. I don't prefer sweet food. So I find that eating an apple doesn't really do it for me, but a tomato, hell yeah, that's my jam.
That's strange. That's very strange. And I have to have sugar like in my life. If I don't eat sugar, it's the insulin thing. It's the thyroid, and
I'm not a big fan of sugar. My dad was diabetic, right? And so if you're hypoglycemic or so I mean, if he was a type 1 diabetic. He had started with type 2, but it progressively got worse. So it does run in my family. So, but I'm not a big fan of sugar. Although recently, in the last 2 months, I've had massive cravings for sugar. I'm telling you, it's like I'd like chocolate a lot more now and cheesecake a lot more now, and but I've cut back on those things. Now, again, like you guys said though,
chat caught me. Tomato is a fruit.
Tomato is a fruit.
Tomato
is a fruit.
Tomato is a fruit.
But people will have to discover what works for them. Especially, I would again, none of us. She's I guess you're a semi-professional, but you're not an actual nutritionist. If you're going to start an actual kind of diet like a keto, keto diet, talk to an actual medical professional. What you're doing, you're changing your entire biological chemistry. Instead of having your main source from carbohydrates and sugar, right? You're changing it to fats now, right? So your liver starts processing these fats, starts producing these ketones, and that is your energy source rather than the glucose, which is normally what your body basically runs on through glycolysis. And of course, if you're a diabetic and you're not producing insulin and you have high blood sugar, what happens? It's bad. You don't have the insulin to break down that sugar.
I have 2 tricks that I like to do that help people, particularly because we brought up bacon, and now everybody in chat is like, bacon. Bacon is good.
No, I want bacon.
Bacon's good. I'm not going to give up my bacon. I don't have to. I guess
right. You can eat healthy and still eat bacon. What I like to do is that one of the things that I've noticed is that I
Canadian connections. She was going somewhere.
Come on, Chesh.
Yeah, I don't know where to finish that because I don't know where she was going with it. But I'll tell you this though. Like I said, I
agree, Mr. Serious. Everyone is different. See a registered dietitian.
I'm not going to give up stuff because I'm on a diet. But like you said, it really is about portion size. As I told you the other day, I bought a pound of steak, a 16 ounce steak, which is about a pound. It was a pound, but it's a 16.1 something. But I normally would have eaten that whole damn thing. That's 1,200 calories. That's half my caloric intake for the entire 24 hours, right? But instead, I broke it down to portion size.
Yeah, and you can eat that, like you said, you can eat that if you are lifting that much, if you're cutting that much out of your normal diet.
Stance, right? I mean, so I'm not as exercising, so that extra. Let's say we got a super chat, Ink Boy for €5. I see tomato as a vegetable, colloquial, and fruit biologically. It is biologically a fruit.
It is. It was cut out of my competition diet because it had sugar in it. So I couldn't eat tomatoes and I couldn't eat carrots because of the sugar content.
Yeah, they're high in fructose sugar.
That's how strict competition diets are.
Carrots and spinach are the 2 most nutrient dense things you could eat out there. I love spinach and I love carrots. But let's say you're working out, right? A light workout, let's say you burn like 100 calories an hour. I mean, you could burn that walking a mile actually, and for a mile walk is about 100 calories, 90 to 100 calories you're burning off. So let's say I walk a mile every 5 days a week, right? That's an extra 500 calories I'm burning, which again, if you're doing the math, 3,500 calories is 1 pound, right? So in an extra month, you're burning almost burning another calorie. I mean, another whole pound, give or take. I mean, it's another whole pound, a little less than that, but I mean, about a week, month and a half. But it still adds up, right? You're literally adding on to that number of your caloric deficit, and that's what you want to go for, right? So you want to eat smaller portions. You want to make sure you have the proper nutrients. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big supplement fan per se, like multivitamins, right? I think if you have a nutritional diet, you don't need multivitamins. Take one every so often. But people that take a multivitamin every day and eat right, that's dangerous because now you're getting too much nutrients that your body can't process, especially vitamin A and a couple other more of the rare nutrients that your body can't process as much. So you don't want to take a multivitamin if you're eating right, correct?
And your body's not used to it as well. So supplements I'm very leery about supplements ever since I went through my thyroid issue. You do have to be very careful as to what is in those supplements. So a lot of pre-workouts have beta-alanine. Do you like the feeling of beta-alanine? It's that constant tingle that C4 is known for. Some of them almost all supplements have diuretics in them, which will help you expel water and, reduce your water weight. But at the same time, are you hydrating enough to make up for the amount of diuretics that are in the supplements? How pure is the main ingredient? Like if you're taking a vitamin, how much concentrated vitamin X is in this supplement, and how much are just fillers? Like I told you when we first talked, I call a lot of the MLM supplements out there ground horse hoof. If anybody knows what ground horse hoof is, it's just Jello. It's gelatin. But I say that it gives you chorro. So basically, it's just going to make you go to the bathroom a lot. And that's a lot of what some of those popular supplements are out there that especially are very affordable. They just put diuretics in them and laxatives in them that kind of help you flush your system out and make you think you're losing weight. So if you are starting something that is going to be long term and you are not dependent on instant results, I would implement eating right first, moving your body, getting exercise, educating yourself on your BMR, what your caloric intake should be and how much you should subtract from that. Every body is different and every diet is different. When I was competing, I was eating anywhere from 6 to 8 times a day. I literally had to set a timer. I had to make my food. I spent hours making my meals and weighing them, portioning them out, putting them in the fridge, investing in one of those large 6-pack bags, and carrying my food with me everywhere. I remember going out to restaurants and pulling out my own food. Like, this is just how strict I was with myself because I wanted to compete so badly. But I was eating 6 to 8 times a day, depending on what time I got up and what time I went to bed. So I was only eating, 4 ounces of ground turkey and 2 to 3 ounces of rice and 2 ounces of green beans. And I've learned now, looking back at my body from when I was competing, when I stepped on stage, I was 142 pounds. I'm currently 115 pounds. And I think the constant working of my body, and I was lifting very heavy back then, constant working of my body, I was always exhausted. So I think that, my new approach to the way I eat and the way I work out is more complementary to my energy source, my adrenal glands. I mean, I know caffeine doesn't help our adrenal glands, but
yeah, you don't want to deplete your reserves all the time. Plus, but as you said, when you're in competition mode, you want to keep your body metabolism going all the time. I mean, just except when you're sleeping. But I mean, you want those. Basically, think of it as a furnace, right? You want to stoke the furnace. You want to keep that furnace burning, rather than have one meal go 8 hours and have another meal, or have one meal.
That's the concept.
Yeah, and so that a lot of people don't understand. They one meal a day.
Competition mode. You don't want that 24/7. That's no good.
No, but to eat more frequently than you are.
Like, my roommate only eats like one big meal a day, right? And it's just not healthy. Plus, he's diabetic, and he eats a lot of sugar, and he's out of insulin. It's like everything he's doing wrong. Like, and I've explained it to him, and he kind of understands it, but just doesn't care. But I mean, I only can do so much to help the guy. But at the same token, when you only have like one meal a day, and then you start trying to diet, you got to change how your body efficiently works, and your metabolism changes. This is why you don't want to like diet every single day. People have cheat days, and there are cheat days for a reason. That doesn't mean like eat whatever you want. But that just means eat normally, right? That's all it means is kind of eat normally, so your body doesn't get used, and it doesn't go into what's called starvation mode. Because if you start having a caloric deficit, let's say I'm at a low carb, a low calorie a day diet, extremely low, like 1,000, which is really low. But let's say I'm doing that, and I do it for like 2 weeks. My body will start going into starvation mode, start eating muscle rather than fat. But if you do it for 3 days, have a normal day, 3 days, have a normal day, 3 days for a normal, and then having a normal routine, right? Just a normal diet routine where you're at 1,500 calories, and you just kind of alternate so your body doesn't get used to it. That's what I've read seems to be the most efficient, because you don't want to like have your body restrict things so much that it gets used to it, and you say you hit these plateaus.
Exactly. So that is called carb cycling, or
carb cycling. I've heard that. Yep.
Carb cycling is, and I really love the concept of carb cycling because, like you said, the days that you are not able to work out or put in as much effort, it's a low carb day. The days that you are able to really push and lift heavier in the gym are high carb days. And you're keeping it fun, like with your metabolism. You're keeping it new with your body.
lets you be you. You're not a robot, and you shouldn't treat yourself as a robot. So it's unreasonable to expect you and your body to physically and mentally sustain something at like this high of level all the time, 24/7. Like, it's just not reasonable, and it's not good for you. So to be able to kind of have those peaks and valleys, you're getting a little bit of everything, which seems to be the balance. It's about balance. So if you can do that, then you can be in a position where you're running mentally and emotionally and physically.
Do you do carb cycling because hypothyroidism generally is you do carb cycling if you have hypothyroidism, which you said you have? Because my mom had the same problem. Her was it low T4?
Yes.
Okay. So my mom had hypothyroidism. She had a goiter, and it caused hyperthyroidism, and she had a part of it removed. Oh, but she's fine. And again, the thing with the thyroid is you can take hormone replacement therapy or supplements. You can at least that's not as bad as something like pancreatic cancer where you're done. But the thyroid, and they check your. I've had it been checked as too. My T4, T3, whatever the hell. But everything is normal with me. But like I said, because it runs in my family, because my dad had,
you have to be careful.
He had diabetes. My brother had cancer. I was getting like screened a lot back early on, but
you need to be careful.
Yeah, I know. But you know how many times I've been poked and prodded by
care of yourself.
Shit? I'm telling you, man.
I mean,
so blood draw,
a basic blood test. I think for women, if you've struggled losing weight, our hormones basically change every 7 years. So if it's been that long plus since you've gotten a blood test, I would recommend going to get a blood test and getting the full panel, your cholesterol, your thyroid, all of your levels. And
get a pap smear and a mammogram because you should do those things.
Smear.
That too. Those are really important too.
Yeah, I don't
need
to
get a
and for
I did get a lot of things, but I look. My last blood work was only a few years ago, and it was weird. I was like normal, like everything was like fine. Matter of fact, I had an EKG for my heart, and the tech literally said this. He's like, "You want to see a textbook rhythm?" That's what his words were. I mean, it was textbook, which is good because you want to get a good.
I don't know why I thought about it.
Because my dad had a pacemaker put in, he had CPOD, and again, he smoked very little growing up, but most of his life he didn't. I smoked all my life, so that is a huge concern of mine. But anyways, Chesh, we got some super chats, and I don't want to neglect them.
Oh baby! So we got Ink Boy for 5 said,
baby.
I see tomato as a vegetable colloquially and fruit biologically. Exploratory minds for 10. My sugar craving gets. Well, I don't know how far back. I wasn't here. I was in.
That was the last one he read.
Okay, so you read Exploratory Minds.
No.
Okay, my sugar craving get far worse during winter months. Short hours of sunlight really screws up with my sleep patterns. I comfort eat unless I'm taking vitamin D, which helps me maintain better sleep as well.
Oh, I'm with you, bro.
Something that works for you. Dim Sum Nim Sum for 5 says, what would you say for me? My construction profession says I burn 3,000 calories in a day. Sound about right?
Well, should be lifting weights and eating lots of meat.
A person who's really active that has, obviously what you weigh and what your height, but I mean, sure. Look, when I was working retail, do you know how many calories I burned off just working? Walking from like point A to point B all day long and clothes, folding.
5 minutes to walk from one end to the other, 5 to 10 minutes to go one end of the shop to the other. That's not, and I had to do circuits.
Yeah, you're burning 3,000 calories a day.
I'd have to go around for 12 hours a day on my feet doing circuits, checking all of the machines, and then because they took my little cart away because somebody else messed it up, so I wasn't allowed to use the cart anymore. I was carrying 2 5-gallon drums of coolant all the way down by hand because I was mad. I was mad about it. So they were like, "Why don't you use this rolly cart?" And I was like, "Fuck your rolly cart!" And so I had I had my coveralls, which they ordered for me, instead of giving me like a 20, what was it, like a 26, 23 or something like that. They gave me a 36, 33.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was so big. So I had like, you couldn't see my hands. I was shuffling, and I was just like this tiny person in a big coat with these 5-gallon drums that I had to lift up like this because I'm too short or they would drag on the ground. And I was just like zooming around them.
You're basically styling like the 90s. Just put a belt on and, let the sleeves hang and just like TLC it out.
And I was biking to and from work at the time. So like I still wasn't in very good shape. Like I didn't eat very well because I was working 12 hours.
That's what it is. Yeah. And I worked retail.
Lack of eating. Yeah.
Yeah. I worked retail for 11 years, and I know what it's like. You are running late to work, you grab Starbucks, and you work your entire 8-9 hour shift. If you have a lunch, you probably go get ice cream from the food court or something, or coffee from Starbucks to keep it going for the last leg of your shift. And then you get home and you eat a large meal, or you go out with your friends and go drink, and you're basically, you have put your body throughout those 8, 9, 10 hours, you put your body in starvation mode. So when you do finally put food in your system, your body's going to be like, thank God I'm holding on to this. And your body will hold on to it because it doesn't know when it's going to eat next. So you stay.
I used to get home. I barely ate at all, like to the point that I barely even remember what I was eating at the time, because what I would do is I would get home from work, shuck my clothes, grab a beer from the fridge, drink the beer in the shower, and then pass out on the bed for a couple of hours and then get up and do the whole thing again. I don't even remember what I was eating at all.
Yeah.
If anything.
Anything.
I was burning a lot of calories, and I kept weight down because I was eating like McDonald's and Subway and Carl's Jr. I mean, every lunch was fast food. And
I remember those days.
800, 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories, a shit ton of calories, but I was burning it off, so I didn't notice it. Now, I did have, when I was working there, my blood work was a little off. I had high cholesterol, right? So I was on statins for a while. But after I stopped eating fast food pretty much altogether, I only eat fast food very, very infrequently. Like my roommate might buy me some tacos, or I might go to Wendy's occasionally and I'll get something, but it's like once a month at most do I eat fast food. And
I'm so sad
that's been away for years now. My blood work, my cholesterol has been normal ever since I cut out fast food.
I love poutine, which is just gravy, fries, and cheese. It's so good. And I've had to, like, I've tried a bunch of different poutine, like, places that serve poutine to find the best one. And I finally found one when I was staying at my mom's place. And then I moved, and it was within walking distance. It was at like this little corner bar that had like, their poutine is delicious. And now I moved, and I'm like,
it was for your own good.
Probably. I would have just been. It was not even expensive either. It was such a small little like corner bar, that like little nook that lots of people went to, but nobody really knew about it. And their beer was not expensive. Their draft nights, not expensive. You were spending like $2 on a beer and like not even $5 on the poutine. And I was just like, I love my life. And then I moved, and I'm like,
Drinking is another thing.
Beer. Yeah. Beer's calories. Beer's all the calories.
I used to work at the third largest outlet shopping mall in the United States, and I worked for the Lacoste company. So it was in a college town, and it's a college town. So what do you do after work? You go hit up the square and throw back a bunch of beers. And that was kind of like one of my unhappiest points, because I was very unhealthy and feeling the hangover and not knowing how alcohol was affecting my thyroid. It's not fun. Like, you need to cut out, or at least cut back alcohol. I rarely drink alcohol. Huh?
Stop that crazy talk.
Actually, what I did is I cheated and I swapped up my mixers. So instead of mixing with Coke, now once in a while what I'll mix with is ginger ale. But you can also swap up with mixing with by switching to clamato juice and drinking Caesars, which is tomato and clam juice.
I really
that sounds gross.
I really hate clamato beer.
You never had a Caesar? Caesars is prairie oysters. Okay, so a prairie oyster is basically just uncooked egg just cracked into a glass with a shot of vodka and a dash of Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
So good. You just shoot the whole thing back. It is probably one of my favorite breakfasts.
My mixer.
That's a breakfast.
Oh yeah,
it's
supposed to be like a hangover cure, but it's just like a shot or a double shot of vodka and an egg, and then just a dash of basically a really salty sauce, and it's just like if you want it spicy, a little bit of Tabasco. So good.
Well, I mean, I come from. Go ahead.
I was just say, mixers are important because people use Coke and for mixers, right? And Coke is like super heavy in sugar. I mean, 54 grams of sugar in a can kind of thing. The monsters, the green monsters, those are about 50 plus grams of sugar.
Horrible.
A huge amount. Like I don't drink anything with that much sugar content. I take the low carb. I also get this club soda
apple
stuff. Apple
cider and rum is really good. If you want even less calories, so if you want even less calories than apple cider is going to give you, because apple cider is pretty thick. But what you can do is get chai tea and put it in a glass of apple juice. Stir it, take the chai tea bag out, put it in the microwave for 45 seconds, and add your shot of rum.
Well, I
would drink that.
That sounds like holiday drink.
It is. It's basically normally you would do with that. It's a replacement for apple cider. So if you would only drink apple cider during the holidays,
I have apple cider vinegar, but apple cider vinegar needs to be mixed in something. I never drink it straight. Trust me. But
I would drink it straight.
No, you're not supposed to drink it straight.
I love vinegar. I love vinegar.
You're just weird. No,
I was pouring it on all my food for when I was competing because you can't really have flavor when you can't really have salt when you're competing.
Apple cider vinegar?
So yes, come to find out, people who have thyroid issues need to be very careful with acidic foods. So I was having grapefruit for breakfast, apple cider vinegar, lots and lots of black coffee, and just the acidity was not good for my thyroid. And it can kind of.
That's why I have club soda. This has potassium bicarbonate in it. No, normally I use sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda or baking powder. I'll put a spoon of baking powder in water and hot water to dissolves better, and that to me neutralizes some of the acid, because if you have heartburn or GERDs, which I have, it helps. But this is potassium bicarbonate, which is very similar. But let's get these super chats out of the way.
Star Lily for 5 said, I had a lot of kidney stones to the point my doctor went through my diet. He finally discovered I was on vitamin D. Vitamin D causes kidney stones. Ink Boy for 2 said,
hang on. Anything too much of a good of something could be bad, right? So vitamin D you have to have, because you usually get it from sunlight, right? But if you have a normal amount of vitamin D in your diet and then you take supplements, now you have an excess of vitamin D, that can cause a problem.
If you're taking any kind of vitamins whatsoever, confirm it with your doctor, even if it's just like the daily ones, because sometimes the daily ones can be really, really bad for you if you've already got too much calcium or too much of anything that's in those.
I completely agree.
That's why I said daily supplements that they're like, take every day. Don't necessarily do that. Talk to your doctor.
No, you have to go. My biggest recommendation, and I know this costs money and it sucks. I don't have health insurance. I live in Texas. I pay out of pocket, but it's a must that if you want to do anything, change anything, if you feel bad, if anything, go get blood work. Get a full panel. It'll give you all of the map of your body currently. And then you can assess whether, okay, I do need to take this vitamin. Okay, I do need to cut this out of my diet. That's the guide that you should give a registered dietitian or your personal trainer. That's why, in all of the personal trainer contracts and onboarding paperwork, which you should be signing before you hire somebody to take care of your body, they need to know this information. And if they're not asking for that information, that's not a good sign. That means like you're going to probably, go off, not see results, go the wrong direction, or end up in the hospital. I've known a lot of trainers that have really made people sick because they give them cookie cutter diets. So I don't claim to be an expert. I can give you my advice as far as my experience, but to really get your individual plan results, you should go get blood work and get a full panel. So that's the biggest disclaimer right there.
They give you a general panel, and then they'll do a more specific depending on what they think that you need, based upon if something's out of range or not. Right?
Jess, and men.
Say hi,
men.
Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
But also, people need to recognize that certain vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin K, which you can get from wine that helps for clotting, those are not water soluble. They're fat soluble, so they'll stay and they'll be stored in your body. That's why they have a buildup. Water soluble ones like vitamin B complex and stuff like that, most of the vitamin Bs are just they'll flush out, right? I mean, if you take a vitamin B supplement, you notice your pee turns a dark yellow, right? Because you have thiamine, riboflavin, niacin. But the vitamin Bs are water soluble, so sure you don't want to take too much of anything, but it's a lot harder to OD on something or do something wrong with the water soluble because it gets flushed out than it is a fat soluble because that gets stored in your cells. So that's one thing
you would have to be
like
incredibly dehydrated.
Yes,
well,
and
we haven't got
will
to
feel sick. Like you'll feel sick if you're dehydrated. Ugh,
Yeah, and also those other things too. People don't recognize. Like people like me, I have thinning hair. I don't want to eat a lot of things with selenium. Selenium will actually cause a balding as well. So again, you got to be real careful with these extra nutrients, these minerals that you're taking, because you only need certain these traits. You only need trace amounts. People don't realize that trace amounts mean trace. These are trace amounts of zinc, selenium, molybdenum. You don't need a hell of a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's it's the same thing as with your food and your diet, what you're eating. Educate yourself on what you're putting into your body and learn about your body. If you want to talk about magic tricks or magic pills, it's understanding yourself and then understanding the chemistry and mathematics that go into the way your body functions, the biology itself. And realistically, this should be part of an early education in biology. You should be learning the biology of the human body and your own body. You should be learning that in early grade school, because it's not necessarily that complicated. It's basically addition and subtraction, as well as you don't have to learn all of the periodic table. You don't necessarily need to know what each of them are exactly and what their pH balance is, but to be able to or their atomic mass, but you should probably be able to identify and understand which foods have what in them, so that way you can learn about yourself and your body and what to consume.
They don't teach they teach health. They teach health, but they don't teach nutrition. I didn't learn a goddamn thing about nutrition until college. Health class that you have to college.
So Canada has a food pyramid. I'm convinced it needs to be completely inverted. It's upside down. Everything's in a lot.
I don't agree with.
Yeah. Here's some funds for Chesh's Better Internet.
I don't either. Yes.
Thanks.
She's gonna move from Canada.
Canadian. Inkboy for 5 also again said, so what would you say to a person working 12-hour shifts, 1 30-minute lunch break, and walking about 7 to 10 miles a day during work?
What's the goal? Is your goal to gain muscle, lose weight? Is your goal to stay
be healthy as healthy as you can be?
Well, the first thing I would tell him is what's his metabolic how much is his metabolic sedentary rates, and how. So you go to a calculator. You put in your height, you put in your age, you put in your weight, and it tells you what the minimum amount of calories you need to eat a day to maintain your weight. And then you could start calculating, okay, if I want to maintain that, this is what I need, 3,000 calories. If I, based on my exercise, right? Moderate,
what's your goal?
Heavy exercise.
My first recommendation would be get a crock pot.
I'm buying one of those. Yeah, I need to get one. I've been meaning to.
You're working 12-hour shifts, an Instapot or a crock pot, take your pick, because you can set it and forget it. So what you can do is you can meal prep. So you take one of your days off, you get all your shit together, you have them already pre-made, you dump it in your Instapot, it's done in the morning, or you set it either overnight or you set it during the day while you're at work, or both. I would recommend both. Set it in before you go to bed, so that way when you wake up, there's something there for you that you can take with you, and then you can eat throughout the day. Then set it before you leave, so that way when you get home, there's a meal waiting for you that you can divvy up and consume throughout the rest of the night.
To stay healthy. Yeah, Ink Boy, that's what I recommend doing. That you have to plan, like I said in my video in the intro. You have to plan ahead. So go on Amazon and get 12-ounce meal containers, like prep meal containers. Chicken, you want a protein source, you want a carb source, and especially if you are walking that many miles, carb source and a veggie source. At least eat 3 solid meals. So before
cheese Fredo.
Feta cheese Fredo, what? That sounds delicious.
Do you think a lot of people they don't bother to learn the mechanics of like, for example, a basic biochemistry, right? Like, none of us are biochemists, but all of us had nutrition at least. We at least understand amino acids. We understand the proteins being broken down. We understand peptides and things of that nature. So a lot of people, I don't think they understand that. Like, for example, our body doesn't produce certain amino acids. That's why they call it essential amino acids. You have to get them because we're chemoheterotropic. We don't produce our own food source, own sources of things. We have to eat other things, and we have to have certain proteins to break down to have certain essential amino acids. And I see, like, my sister's a hardcore vegetarian, ethical vegan, but I haven't seen her in years, but last time I saw her, she looked like death warmed over. I don't think she was getting a certain, because she'd never talked to a doctor about it, and I don't think she understands, nutrition at all. And we want to address that a little bit, because I think you mentioned amino acids in one of your videos, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's kind of important, because people don't seem to realize that you have to have certain things in your diet, more than just vitamins. And amino acids is one of those things that's critical, because our body doesn't produce certain essential amino acids.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being vegan, but if you're going to do it, if you don't do it in a way that is good, that is healthy for you, you make all vegans look bad.
Yes, and you're right. I think if you are contemplating going vegan or contemplating, like, any diet, the keto, always experiment just a little bit. You need to see how your body reacts. You need to really tune into that. So you'll find out that you don't have as much energy, or especially going vegan. You need to really research your sources of protein when you go vegan, because you're cutting out all of the meats. So chickpeas, legumes, hummus. I eat tubs of hummus. I love hummus. I love hummus.
Hummus alive. Yes.
Do you eat it with,
I put hummus on, like, I put it, so there's this stuff called cauliflower pizza. So good. I put hummus on my cauliflower pizza. I put hummus on my eggs. I put hummus on
everything. Hummus is amazing. Hummus is like literally is one of the most versatile things. Yes.
And if any of y'all are from Texas, go to HEB and get the purple tub of hummus, the garlic roasted. I need to be a spokesperson for that, for HEB's hummus. I eat so much of it.
a lot of people, like, for example, there used to be this myth, right? But the myth that if you eat a certain amount of turkey, you'll fall asleep.
We'll get to yogurt.
Tryptophan. right? Tryptophan is a chemical that helps us sleep, but there's so little tryptophan in turkey that you would have to eat an inordinate amount of it to actually have any effect.
It's all of the stuffing.
It's because you're eating
how it's
right.
Potato,
but
all of that ate, not the turkey that's putting you to sleep on Thanksgiving.
It's not tryptophan in there, but you need tryptophan as an essential amino acid. So if you cut out turkey, you're not having tryptophan, right? You have to get some other source. But people don't understand is you eat protein, right? Proteins get broken down into amino acids, and then amino acids get rebuilt up, right? In protein synthesis for other proteins that your body does use, right? Because your body uses proteins for everything, regulatory functions and enzymatic functions and all kinds of things proteins are used for. And so
Iliad for 2 says, have you heard of T-Onic, an adrenal support drink?
No, I've never heard of it. I have taken adrenal support supplements in the past, and I felt like they worked, but again, I don't think I gave them enough time. One of them tasted like pepper, and I hate pepper. So, but anything you can do to naturally kind of take care of your adrenal glands, because I mean, we're on caffeine corner here. So caffeine, adrenals, stress, high cortisol, it all affects weight loss, energy levels, focus. It affects all of that. So I would, if you're feeling lethargic, tired, not getting a good night's sleep, you may want to do research on adrenal glands and kind of compare the symptoms to how you're currently feeling and take some of those remedies and experiment with them before jumping into taking a supplement. Now, if you have a natural food store, like here in Texas, we have this place called Cost Plus Nutrition. They're always very knowledgeable, very helpful. And if you just tell them, I want the most natural supplement that you have on the market, and they will actually show you, read the ingredients to any supplement that you're taking. But T-Onic, no. Is it a drink or an actual supplement? And going back to the amino acids, you do need those amino acids to repair your body, build muscle. That's why I do have a video. I'm not sure if it's up on my YouTube, but what are BCAAs? So that's one supplement that I do recommend to beginners. Again, be mindful of what is in it. BCAAs are branch chain amino acids. So if you are working out hard, if you're hitting it hard, you are, eating the right foods, you're basically tearing down your body. In order to avoid extreme soreness or loss of muscle while you're doing your cardio workouts, BCAAs are a really good drink to have. And it's also really good at cutting out sodas or sweet tea or something like that, because they do make really good flavored BCAAs. So it's kind of like a mental thing to kind of get rid of like the carbonated drinks. And it's also good for you. Again, everything in moderation. I do like recommending BCAAs. I don't have a specific brand that I could recommend anymore, but yeah, BCAAs are really good, and they'll make you less sore.
A vegetarian probably should taste like that, because again, they're a lot of times they don't get the proper amino acids because they're not getting the proper sources from because they don't eat meat, right? So they don't have
that. Vegan diets are very hard. I think I saw a comment that said Sphinxy, she said people think they can switch to a vegan diet without learning how to meet minimum requirements, and that's very true. Like,
yeah, you think you can
very true. You don't. You're not educated about the diet enough to just automatically switch. Like, your body's gonna go. Your body's gonna feel some type of way. Like,
go shock.
Moon for $2.99 points out she has Cushing's, and that is a cortisol problem. Cortisol is a stress hormone. It's basically a fight and flight hormone.
But so
like I don't
Cushing's.
Real quick,
I want to look that up.
I don't. I don't think there's such a thing as when I was reading about this called adrenal fatigue, right? There's adrenal insufficiency where your body's not producing enough cortisol, right? So on your adrenal glands, let's say you have like your kidneys, on top of your kidneys you have these adrenal glands that are producing cortisol. If she has like Cushing's, then she has a problem with that steroid not being produced as well as it should. But those things, again, you could be tested for blood work, right? You can go to have your blood work tested to see if you have, adrenal insufficiency problems, which I don't know how. I mean, I don't know the blood. There's so many different blood test names that I don't know one from another. But
we're almost at the hour and a half mark. Do you guys want to spend the last 30 to 40 minutes kind of going over what our goal is to help the community as well as help ourselves? Because that kind of goes with so I've already jumped the gun a little bit. I did 3 days. I took yesterday off, and today I have people coming over so I can set up my Beat Savers, which should cardio. Hey, but I noticed that I was exhausted. I'm doing nothing, and I'm tired as hell. The last 2 days I just could not sleep. I was up till 4:40 in the morning last night.
All of our sleeping patterns suck. But we also know people all around the world, so it's a little bit different for us because I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. People are already up in the UK and it's noon for them, right? Or if I'm, whenever I'm up, there's somebody around the world that is still up. So it's for me, I'm on a 24-hour clock, so my circadian rhythm has always been off anyways, but especially more off now than ever. But I probably still need to get in a better routine, at least get a solid 8 hours sleep, because that gives your time, your body to repair itself and heal and get your hormone levels balanced, and all kinds of good stuff happens when you sleep. Plus, I love.
Do you have a sun alarm clock? The sunrise alarm clock?
Oh hell no! That's usually when I'm going to bed. But I like, for example, a friend of mine was talking to me on Twitter, and he was having some problems with sleep too. And I said, look, occasionally what I'll do is I just turn off all the electronics in the room. Everything's off. I mean, just no computer, no nothing. I put on earplugs.
One power bar. I just flick that thing.
I put in earplugs, and I have a mask. One of those sleeping masks.
I wear earplugs every night.
I don't wear them every night. I had an ear infection a while back because I'm used to putting in earplugs all really far in because
I'm like,
you have to be careful because again, I worked around heavy machinery and loud machinery. You have to wear hearing protection, but they were really kind of short. The ones I recently bought were much longer. They go deeper in the ear canal, but the problem with that is now your bacteria that exist in the ear can get worse. And so I did get a bacteriological infection a little bit. Nothing bad, it went away. But you got to be real careful of every single day wearing, sleeping in ear protection. But the point being is that you just forget about reality for whatever hours it is, and you just disconnect.
Kawasa for 5 says, what would our guest recommend to people inclined to think there's some easy way to lose weight by eating some wonder product? Now, don't answer that yet. Think about that for a little bit. We'll answer that at the very end.
Okay.
I love this comment. I love this comment that somebody said. Sarah Loves Donuts said, adrenal fatigue is a condition diagnosed by naturopath. That is brilliant. That's kind of like a chiropractor diagnosing subluxations, right? Exactly. Adrenal fatigue is not a real thing, just like these subluxations are not a real thing.
I think it's just the proper terminology we attach to the way we feel.
Yeah, it's just but it doesn't have any real medical diagnosis to it. There is adrenal insufficiency, but that's not the same thing as adrenal fatigue, which like she said, a naturopath would call it, or a chiropractor has these things like they call it subluxations. They think that your whole body, you've got a headache, subluxation. Oh, you've got a brain tumor, subluxation. It's like everything's caused by a subluxation. Yeah, that's a great comment. Actually, I love that comment.
People should tell us what the plan is. Now, you talked about Steve. Did you end up saying your weight or not? I was
2.4 is where I started. I ballooned up like a freaking I got fat.
What does Steve need to do?
But hey, real quick though, let me point this out though. For some reason. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're never gonna get there.
So what does Steve need to do?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what does Steve need to do?
So Steve definitely needs to be held accountable. He definitely has it within him.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Troll me for 5 years? Oh wait.
They're going to go after you from Twitter, from their keyboards. The entire chat is going to come at you until their dying breath, which might be tomorrow.
Yeah. Jules would make it awesome but crazy, wouldn't she? She just goes full 180 and just, God damn that Steve. No. I'm gonna stalk him for the rest of my life.
I turn into like this yelling, screaming person. No. I'm not that kind of coach, trainer.
They're not. Most McCrady's are not the yelling, screaming type. But anyways, go ahead.
Oh, those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely needs to be held accountable. I think that is the main thing. He is so detailed and intelligent and passionate about numbers. Like, ew, I don't like numbers, but he has it down to the science. Yes. And I think that's a weight loss journey needs to incorporate some aspect of the person's passion. Like, I think in the beginning with my weight loss journey, it was getting a new pair of workout pants, getting a new pair of tennis shoes, because I, worked retail, I worked fashion. So you have to incorporate something you love into that. And I think that's Steve's incorporation into his journey. Accountability, he's got the knowledge already when it comes to dieting. He has the experience. And I think, like, everybody needs to know how to stay, or at least adapt to working out at home. And I'm definitely going to give him some advice and some strategies as far as like working out from home with what he ordered from Amazon. And, that's ultimately like the focus of my LLC it's called the House of Work, ERK. So working from home to at least feel better and stay accountable. Community is really important. So I think having all of us together will definitely hold him accountable.
What's the carrot? What's the carrot and stick approach?
Well, I don't know if you want to reveal that.
No. I mean, well, actually, I didn't know we established a carrot and stick approach. We have a little DM group for dieting, but yeah, I don't know what the carrot and stick approach for this would be. I know. Oh, wait, I do have a carrot. Oh, you're right. Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, full transformation. So, whatever new glasses suggestion y'all have for Steve, throw them down there, black frame Ray-Ban.
First of all, these are brand new glasses I got.
We gotta see
but I'm wearing contacts today.
We gotta see.
We gotta get you.
Do you like these? Wait, do you like these glasses? Wait, these are my reading glasses.
Hipster looking.
You like these? Yo.
See, maybe even
these are my reading glasses.
Maybe something like this,
Yeah, but girls always look great in glasses.
Bears, Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
They remind me of Dwight from The Office.
So
to give you guys
next 3 months. And Steve,
yes.
What are you going to do? You're going to be posting to social media? What are you going to do? And then in 3 months, we got to get him a makeover.
Well, I'll be posting in our group, but I mean, like I did on my okay. So the way I broke it down was this. I'm like my spreadsheet. Like I'm looking at my actual spreadsheet right now. So not for this new diet, but I mean from like previous ones. I had my sedimentary diet, rate, my metabolic rate, my calories are maintained, and then I broke down each food by the caloric, the calories, how much protein was in it. Because a lot of people I don't think they track their proteins properly. Because you want to have a certain ratio of your proteins and carbohydrates to fats. So I have to make, I think it's for me it would be about 50 grams of protein a day, about average. Do you remember what your protein was when you were working out? Probably much higher, wasn't it?
You said 150?
No. 50. No, 150 is way too high.
Oh, 50.
50 grams of protein a day is what I was shooting for.
I want to say I was in that range.
Well, it might be because you're a woman.
At that point, I was literally deadlifting like 260 pounds. Yeah. So squatting like 180. So I can imagine that is the level that I was at, around the 50.
It sounds about right. I mean, obviously you were less weight, but you're also more active, so that would be a higher protein. Okay, but I would track my weekly. So my initial weight, then my weekly, then weekly and weekly. Like I said, it might not appear to be losing weight over a week or two, but after a month, I started with a 203.1, and then I got down to like 197 by the end of like 2 months. So I really did track it.
So Steve, are you going to post your starting page of where you're starting from with your spreadsheet, and then in a month you'll post your spreadsheet as it looks now by then?
When I start I haven't really been tracking the caloric intake yet.
Yeah, I'm saying so post your spreadsheet about what it is, what your what the numbers are, and then a month from now post the same thing but with the new numbers.
Yeah,
and then the next month, and then we'll see your progress.
Yeah, just do like a progress recap once a month. Like, I was eating X amount of calories and I was this weight. I did this much activity. And then, next month. And then, when you're ready and, 3 months is up, then you can get a little bit deeper and share photos and share videos. Tesh has been really good at making videos.
I was going to start counting like first of the year, but yeah, I mean, I'll do something like that.
Oh yeah.
Also, I need to get the resistance bands. I need to start getting used to those, because that's going to take a few days to get used to. Because that sucks. Okay, so there's two different types of there's isometric and isotonic exercises, right? So I used to do a lot of isometric exercises while sitting, right?
Yeah.
And they're just resistance. So I mean, it's not going to be as bad as I think, because I do them pretty often. So one of the things I do is like this. It's just a grip, and there's isometrics, right? And then you push, pull, and there's a lot of things you can do just by sitting, and you can feel it. This is the only reason why I have decent upper body strength, is that I will sit and I'll do some isometrics and just extend, like just push like that. And you'd be surprised how, just by doing simple resistance, that you can maintain a little bit of physical tonnage. Because my upper body is not bad. That's not my problem. My problem is my belly. I've got a dad.
And that's where cardio comes in.
Yeah.
So Steve's gonna be doing videos.
Yeah, we're gonna teach him how to integrate cardio into that workout routine. That's gonna be fun.
then it's my turn, and I'm a go big or go home kind of person. So
yes,
what do I gotta do?
So, I think Chesh has a huge potential to compete, to step on stage. Normally, competitors start anywhere between 12 and 16 weeks out to their chosen show date. So I think our process is going to be getting her to that point. There's a show April 9th.
Yeah, I think so.
Was it?
Is it?
But it is. Yeah, it's the one and only show that has been announced for Canada. So as January comes, well, here in the United States, NPC, National Physique Committee, will announce their lineup of shows. I don't think it's going to be that affected by the virus, but in January, a whole lineup of shows will be posted. So I'm assuming the same with CPC, Canada Physique Committee. So
it's Canada flavored.
That's Canada flavored. How I kind of really learned how to be disciplined in my workouts, my meal planning, and all of that. So if she's not comfortable, at that first show date, then it's okay. We'll go to the next show. That's how I was. I was just very, they say in Spanish, like terca. Like, I was very determined to do the show on my birthday, which was April 29th, 2017. And then I felt more confident and more ready to do the next show that was in July. But yeah, I can see Chesh doing bikini. So there's 3 categories, and I'm pretty sure Canada works the same way: bikini, physique, and figure. So the women who are very like out here and
do they
those
have a Lilliputian group?
Oh, what?
She's a Lilliputian.
Oh, yes, I mean, they do categorize by height.
I don't think you understand how diminutive Cheshire really is. I mean,
she's 4'10", right?
We're the only one this.
She might luck out and be the only one in her category and come away with first place.
There you go.
Yeah.
I unfortunately am a pretty average height. I'm 5'4", so I'm always in a full class. So, but yeah, I plan on just kind of getting her used to not restrictive dieting. I hate that word, but kind of, like she said, kind of pulling back a little bit, adopting healthier habits. And then once maybe 13 weeks out, I do have a friend who is a registered dietitian who has competed before. So I'll get her a custom meal plan, teach her how to pose via online. I do know, I'm refined my posing skills since, but she's got to be able to work it in those heels. Like, they're 6-inch clear heels.
Well, okay, there's a little bit of a carrot right there. So Cheshire and Jules, they have to post new. I've seen Jules, before bikini pictures. So now you have to have updated, more modernized one, and you release those on Twitter and for your channel. That way people could go sub to your channel and go, oh, look, she's got
my bikini is in a frame. I need to take it out. But yeah, and that bikini is expensive
I'm trying to get
too.
You subs here. Work it, girl. Work it. Bikinis equal
that would
subs.
Be fun. That would be fun to see what skills I have in it now. So yeah.
If I don't lose the weight, I'll wear the bikini and take.
Okay. We're kind of gonna do a little bit of what's going. Like, I think what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna be like basically your little pet project for your channel. So any content that goes on video-wise will be on Jules' channel. So if you want to follow what ends up happening with me and where that goes, you got to go subscribe over there. So if you want to see that process, depending on what we decide to do, I'll be posting videos on Twitter of being like, okay, here we go, we're doing this. And so it's probably just going to be mostly me complaining about wanting a cookie, but
But I'm very impressed. Like, she has sent me a couple of videos already, and she goes out to do her like morning cardio walk, and I'm like, dude, there's snow. Like, that's legit snow on the sidewalk. Like, your dog has snow. Like,
I like that though.
Again, I live in this, like 50 degrees is freezing for me.
I'd rather go power walk. I'd rather go outside and go for a walk, and when it's nice and cold, because I don't sweat like a pig, then it's 120 degrees outside Fahrenheit. That's 50 degrees Celsius, by the way, Chesh. Okay.
I'm a Texas girl.
If you ever existed in a 50 degrees Celsius or about 122 or 120 degrees Fahrenheit, it's death. It's death. Oh, actually 122. It's about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That's death. People die out here. They go hiking and they die.
No, thank you. I don't like being cold.
Every month, people die here because they go hiking and they don't take enough water in the heat.
I had to take a break yesterday because I got on my foot. I got on the back of my heel. I got a big ass blister, and I don't have a Band-Aid. Mom, you're coming to visit me, right? Can you bring me a Band-Aid? I don't have any.
Mom.
Bring me one. She's in the chat and she says, mama daughter talk going to happen. I might be in trouble.
Weren't you guys supposed to have
it's
that talk?
Too late.
She was like,
it's been announced to the internet. I can't go back on it now. Everybody's gonna be mad at me.
Which one is your mom? Which one's your mom?
She's got her name. Look for the one that says mama daughter talk going to happen.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah. And I am a very I'm not one of those people that's like very like showy, and getting in the right mindset to be in a bikini on stage. is very scary. Especially coming from somebody who used to be 220 pounds. That is literally your worst fear, is to be in such little clothing on stage in front of an audience. That's the stuff that nightmares are made of. But I found challenge in it. I found achievement in that. And it wasn't so much I'm going to stand on stage and show off my body. I'm going to stand on stage and show off my accomplishments, my confidence, right, and my determination that has culminated into this body. So
it also it also speaks to a goal that you can be accountable to be like, hey, listen, I want to be able to feel like I'm comfortable and that I can do this at this point. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And by the way, what do you think is harder? Okay, so women generally have more than men have body dysmorphia, right? They look, and she worked in clothing, I worked in clothing. This is a real phenomenon. Women don't generally look at themselves and see the right size that they actually are, as compared to what they actually do wear. They just have a warped sense of their images.
I buy things that are small and medium, thinking that I'm larger than I am, and then I'm reminded that I am a tiny person. Oh, I should probably tell my weight. I weighed myself last week. I was at 109.
Tiny.
That's so small. So women. So what do you think is more difficult, a woman or a man too? But somebody going on stage and being judged on their appearance, right? Or public speaking, because public speaking is one of the greatest fears people have. Now, I took public speaking. I got over that fear because they basically instill in you, you're going to have to eventually know how to talk to people. And it's one of the best courses I ever took, especially because they teach about vocalized pauses. And if you listen to somebody, when they do a lot of vocalized pauses, they'll sit there and they do, and these vocalized pauses, every time you started and every time you did one, you got to start and stop and kind of go from the beginning again. And so you kind of broke yourself the habit. Now, we all do vocalized pauses, but there are certain people that's all they do is vocalized pauses.
Yeah.
And when you're public speaking, a lot of people have a fear of public speaking because when you see people doing those vocalized pauses, they're generally being in a they're in a state of fear. A lot of them, they just cannot get up and talk to people. So what do you think is more difficult, public speaking? Like, this is public speaking in a way. I mean, even though we can't see, other people watching, but you've had thousands of people watching. That's public speaking, or being, looked at and reviewed as some kind of object of aesthetics or beauty, and say, okay, she's going to meet this criteria of what we think is a beautiful woman, or bikini, or what they're looking for. I don't know the specifics in the bikini contest, what they look for, believe it or not. But what do you think is more difficult?
It's crazy that you just made that correlation, because I feared public speaking. I feared it. I thought I had developed a deficiency in my body, because when I was a store manager at PacSun, if somebody would come up to me, I'd immediately turn bright red. Like, I'd blush like crazy, and all like down my chest, down my arms, almost look like hives. And I was just terrified of speaking to people. And I think once I found my voice, I guess you could say, I absolutely love public speaking now. Like I was saying earlier with my previous job, I would coach classes with up to 15, 20 women in there. And I would kind of give a speech before and after, and kind of give them like my pop culture jokes and my puns. I was known for my puns throughout class. And I found I built my own confidence in that. I think that they're both the same, on the same level, because with bikini, you are being judged on stage for your grace, your flow, your content, basically your aesthetic, your smile, your personality, how you look, your presence. And public speaking, you're being judged with the same criteria: your content, your delivery, your flow, your personality. all of that, it's the same. But I feel like once you accomplish one of those, you can accomplish the other one. I'm not saying to get on stage in a bikini, Steve, but
hey, you know what? You don't know. I might.
You can do bodybuilding.
I modeled men's underwear once, one time when I was early teen. It wasn't my teens. It was I was about 20 something, early 20s. Because I was at a bar, so I was like 23, I had to guess, because it was right after I got the Navy. But I was in good shape. People don't when you're in your 20s, you're in a much better shape than you are when you're my age. Just to let you know. So a lot harder.
They are the same, and I think it's not which one should you fear the most. It's what is a part of your character, what is a part of your confidence that you can strengthen the most to achieve those two. So it all ties into being.
I like about finding your voice, finding your niche.
I definitely found my voice. Now it's having somebody keep me accountable.
Well, I mean, but if you want to be able to like be a motivational person, you want to be able to explain to people something, you want to be able to talk and have conversations, you have to find a voice. You really actually you have to go through this process. Now, luckily, you were fortunate. You were able to train people in retail. You've had obviously people that you took under your wing. You've trained them. You've had customer interactions. You've had irate customers. You've had belligerent customers. We've all dealt with the world.
So many stories.
Right. So these are all learning experiences and hones you. So when you do get to a situation where you go online and you have a conversation, or you're having a dialectic, or you just, what I do is I rant occasionally on an Unleashed. You at least have a background to draw from. But a lot of people I see, they don't like public speaking. They have never been in front of a group. They've never been able to get up there. They have stage fright. They're not the ones that generally go into hangouts. And for a lot of them, they haven't found their voice yet. And I think a lot of them have so much to add, and they probably want to. I have people tell me all the time, look, I would love to join the dialogue. I'd love to come into Rum and Coke Night, but I feel so insecure. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. It's way over my head. And I keep telling them, so what?
Just do it.
Just jump in. And that's how you start somewhere and you build it up. And I think you've started on your channel. You obviously, kind of moved away from a little bit, but you have a channel that you can at least build upon and take your voice that you found and then own that. Right. And like I said, I hope we can help you with it, and you can help us with our transformations, and we'll be in your portfolio. Now, no, don't expect miracles here. I'm not like trying to get ripped and cut or anything like that. Straight weight loss.
Well, no, like
and just a little. Okay.
When I was a part of the business that I was a part of before COVID happened, I think the biggest point of feedback was, if these women didn't lose weight, they because ultimately a lot of people are not looking for weight loss. Little do you know, you're looking for happiness. You're looking for something to kind of take your mind off of the external. And when you unintentionally find that happiness, the weight or the transformation will happen on its own. And I think in working and training clients, in helping women, or people in general accomplish their weight loss goals, you kind of have to take the pressure off of the weight loss and, introduce things that are a little bit more creative, that are healthy for you, like with food. And community is a huge aspect to any transformation. It opens your mind to other people's ways of life, and it gives you just more opportunity to appreciate the things around you that will in turn turn into happiness. And then it kind of unlocks, everything. You're not so pressured to look a certain way or be a certain way or fit into a certain crowd. And I think that's just one of my biggest points to somebody's weight loss journey. It's not about the number. It's about how you feel and how you feel for the people around you and vice versa. So
well, I feel better just thinking about
people
getting back in shape.
Get caught up with people in their lives too, right? So people in their lives,
yes, very much,
not supportive or
toxic.
Or they could be toxic towards you, even if they're not toxic people. There's been people that I've had to just stop dealing with because, in my life, not because they're bad people and not because what they're doing is wrong and not because they're doing anything against me personally. It's just their presence in my life wasn't good for me. And so like I have no ill will towards them. They didn't do anything. It's not their fault. It's just, we just weren't compatible in a way that was healthy. So and that's how it is.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Weight loss is a whole rabbit hole.
We should probably ask that last question before we go, because we're at the end here. And the question was, what would our guest recommend to people inclined to think there is some easy way to lose weight by eating some wonder product?
Don't do it. Don't do it. There is no one thing that is the one solution. Like I just said, weight loss is a whole rabbit hole. It's not just lose weight. It's mindset. It's your environment. It's your behavior. It's all of these like little aspects that need to tie into your little mind map to weight loss. So there is no one solution, and everybody is different. So
we should mention, I'm not supposed to be losing weight.
No, you're not.
You disappear.
If anything, don't take this wrong, you're probably going to gain weight, but, and I know that's so terrifying to hear, but I was on stage, like the picture in the video that y'all saw with me in the green bikini, I was 142 pounds. In the video that I made, I said I was 130 pounds. That's a big difference. I lost muscle because I lost the routine and the eating routine because I was exhausted. But muscle weighs more than fat, but you will look different. Your form is different. And that's why I look different now than I did back then. You know, I stopped focusing on eating so much and lifting so much. I just focus on what makes me feel good. And so if you do see the number go up, your body is just going to completely change if you do it the right way and gain muscle. So
you're saying weight is a number. Fitness isn't about necessarily how much you weigh. It's about a whole slew of biology and a whole slew of mathematics. And so essentially Steve's goal is to be losing weight. My goal is not to be losing weight at all. My goal is going to be completely different. My goal is going to be toning and forming and just getting into a better shape and a better diet and essentially a better routine for my day-to-day life. That will be the major change that happens to me or with me, or what the goals are going to be. It's not with me. It's not weight loss at all. Weight has nothing to do with it.
Not about a number. Yeah. It's definitely not about a number. Yeah. Honest Red, I agree with you. You don't have to lose weight, girl. No, she does not. There is no one magic thing. So don't believe in it. Don't believe the hype. Like trim spa, baby. I tried it. Not good.
The rule of thumb is this, and this is ubiquitous applied to everything. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Because most of the fad diets you see are mostly diuretics. They're mostly laxatives. They're mostly things that are going to make you lose solid mass and water, where you can drop a few pounds really quick. And look, if you're trying to like get half an inch to close that belt buckle so it doesn't break on you like I had, or something like that, there's reasons why people do it, for a special event or whatever. But if you're going to do a diet on that, and that's what you're relying on, that's not how you diet. That's never going to work. As Jules pointed out before, as soon as you start eating some carbs, as soon as you have a regular diet,
you're going to
it's
blow
all
up.
Back,
I've seen it happen.
And you're going to be way worse than you started.
I've had clients that have gone to like places where people make diets. There's some facilities here in Texas, basically like weight loss clinics. And I had a client who had lost 60 pounds. And she came to me and she had gained 80 back. So her original 60 that she lost plus 80, because they had her on strictly chicken and green beans. She was starving herself. So when she finally gave that up, started eating like she used to, she gained that back plus more. So don't starve yourself. Don't ever starve yourself. Don't restrict yourself in a way that is going to be harmful, because you're going to gain it back.
There's a difference between control and discipline and restricting, right?
Yeah,
it's about balance and understanding and controlling what you eat in a way that's good for you. Restricting what you're eating isn't necessarily going to help you in any way at the end of the day.
By the way, chicken green bean casserole with breadcrumbs is one of my favorite all-time dishes.
And cream of mushroom soup. Yeah.
Oh yes, it's definitely cream of mushroom soup. That is.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Chicken green bean casserole, cream of mushroom soup, and you get that
so good, with French onion chips on top.
You know what? I love you know those French onion things? They come pre-made. Those things are so good. We're gonna have an Epicurean episode just on foods.
Keep us accountable on Twitter, guys. Yell at us on the regular. Go sub to Jules if you want to follow a little bit more about what ends up going on with us and what happens and what works and what doesn't. And we'll see you next time.
Wait, I have an idea before we end. I have an idea to incorporate the people watching, so they can kind of help and do some things too. What are some of the incentives they will have for us, like a carrot stick kind of thing? What do we get now? And again, no, this is not financial, no money thing, but simple things like, what are you going to do? Say, hey, Steve, you lose the weight. I will run a mile, every other day for like a month, or something that you'll do. Send bikini pictures. That works too. That's my motivation.
Show your own. Torture us by sending pictures of whatever meal you just made.
I do that a lot.
Send them my way on Twitter.
Chess and I have been doing this for like years. I'll be like, hey, Chess, I made this chicken, thing like this. And she had made these like awesome sandwiches and stuff like that. I'm like, that looks good. I'll have that instead. Want to trade? But yeah, we've been doing this for a very long time. Actually, we happen to like food. She actually cooks, a little bit. She was going to a cooking show. But we'll have a whole episode on just straight food kind of stuff.
We'll have to keep up with us, keep track with us, and you can tell us what if you want to do it with us and match with us, go for it and do what works with you. You can kind of use us as reference templates for what works for you and what doesn't. You know where Steve's at, you know where I'm at. Now you might not have the exact nuances, but you can kind of follow along with what we're doing and see what works for you.
Sounds good. All right,
and
go watch
also
our video,
send
like
me
and subscribe.
Suggestions as to what you want content of.
If you have questions, let any of us know, and we'll make sure the others know.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Get us out of here, Bull.